Hey, I'm Kevin. Welcome to Meet the Crew. Today we're going to talk to Bro at Brodustrial Light Magic. How you doing, bros? What's up? Thanks for taking the time here to answer some questions from the employees of Brodustrial Light Magic.
Excited.
When did you first join the 501st Legion?
I first joined the 501st Legion in 2006, and I was involved in costuming a little bit earlier than that because I always loved Halloween and making stuff. I would just find real life things that kind of look like. My first costume was Quinlan Voss. I got some patterns at the store, and my mom, that was with me at the time, she sewed the patterns for me. So I kind of made a makeshift, costume. And then a couple years later, I came across the 501st Legion, and I was like, gotta join that. That's so cool.
You joined pretty early on in the lifespan of the Legion. What was the building atmosphere like at the time?
Back then, it was still a couple years old, but it was very difficult because there weren't that many members. There was probably only like 15 or 20 in New Jersey, and at that point, some of them were also in New York because in the initial stages, the garrisons were all three states on the eastern border here. There wasn't a lot of help available. There wasn't a lot of hands-on help. You could go on the forums, you could ask questions, but it was difficult. Getting someone to help you, even if they wanted to. I was like probably the furthest south of New Jersey, and I'm like dead center. So I mean, there was nobody below me. So a lot of things you had to figure out on your own. But then as you began going to events and troops, and you would see other people's costumes, and you'd meet them there, you could see what they did and say, oh, okay, that's how I do that, or oh, that's how I got to fix it. Back then, there weren't many armor makers. There weren't many kits available. And we did things a lot different because there wasn't high def, captures. There weren't costumes that were going on tour that you could see in person. There weren't the books that you could find, the encyclopedias. So, I mean, a lot of things, were put together with rivets or inaccurate, parts and pieces that at this day and age are completely changed.
What was your first costume you made when you joined?
A stormtrooper, and that's almost standard for any 501st Legion member because it's just the coolest, most iconic character. Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned, things were a lot different back then, and my very first costume is right behind me on a mannequin. It's something I would never let go. I would never sell. I'm always going to have it because it's just such a memorable thing to have and to have made. But in terms of today's accuracy and standards, it's way
not gonna fly.
Yeah, it's way down there.
How many do you have now? At
this point, I have 26 or 27 different costumes, both good guys and bad guys. Both 501st and Rebel Legion costumes, and I have a couple Star Wars costumes because once you get into it, it's so much fun. But yeah, I more than anyone really should probably.
Out of all those, what one's your favorite?
That's really tough. People ask me that all the time when they find out how many costumes I have. Each one has a lot of pros and cons to it. The Stormtrooper, just the classic original trilogy Stormtrooper, is kind of always my favorite because it's just that's like my first memory as a child, to see those stormtroopers out there. My snowtrooper, I really love that, and my biker scout, I really like that one.
Okay.
Those are kind of on top, but I mean, I do love them all.
It's tough to pick, I understand.
It is.
Overall, the years of building, what was the biggest challenge you faced when working on a costume, and how did you overcome it?
Having the foundation of building the costumes, you learn a lot about how they're put together, and they're kind of all put together the same way to a point. You're using the same materials, the same methods to create them, but the costume itself is vastly different sometimes. So like an example of the hardest ones I've had is like the First Order Stormtrooper.
Okay.
When I got that kit, there was not really many built at that point. and there wasn't much reference to go to. So like here, you know, we have people who have a question on a stormtrooper or a TIE fighter. You come here, we all have made them, we all have experience, we have the costumes, we can show you firsthand what we did. For something like that, there was no reference. There was only other people that were building them, and you kind of had to do it online. Same thing with Nicole. I made her Iden Versio, and that was also a brand new costume that nobody had ever made. So it's kind of cool because you set the trend and like you document what you're doing to help other people down the road. And then once all said and done, you compare it to the other people that made it, and then you look at the reference and the things that come out, and if you need to make minor adjustments, you do.
You mentioned here Nicole having costume. How'd you get your entire family involved in the build process and the trooping?
So Nicole's my wife, and you know we've been together for about 13 years or so, and she was with me when I first joined. And one of the first couple of troops I did back then, New York Comic Con and Wizard World Philadelphia, they were brand new, and they weren't as big as they were back then. So we would go with Empire City Garrison in New York City and Garrison Carina in Pennsylvania. You know, they would host it, and we would go, and as a member, I would go and troop, and she came with me, and she was like, "Oh, that's so much fun. That's cool." She likes costuming, likes the same genre. So she wanted costumes. So, you know, first she had like a Supergirl costume, and then we worked on like a Slave Leia costume. Ultimately, the trooping is what brings your family together, because all the troops we do, you know, they're kid friendly. They're promoting usually for kids. You have like library events and some of the shows. So my kids would come along with me, and they would have fun. And you can see we make some kid-sized costumes. You know, they're just as accurate. They're just scaled down. So, you know, basically, since I was trooping all the time and Nicole was coming with me and she was also trooping, and then when we had our kids, you know, we would bring them along and they would also, you know, enjoy it. So we'd make them costumes or buy them costumes. And then ultimately, Nicole's dad, my father-in-law, he would come with us to the bigger events to help babysit the kids so we could troop and help out at the tables. And he enjoyed it himself, and he loves Star Wars. So, and he actually looked like, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we got him a costume one year as a birthday present, and he absolutely loves it. So now we have 3 generations all trooping.
They all have fun.
Yes.
Everyone has fun with them there. What is your dream project to build, whether it's a prop or another costume, something you've always wanted?
I'm looking forward to trying to get that speeder bike done.
Okay.
The costumes, I have almost every costume, you know, that I want. I still, an Imperial Knight is something that I still, if I had to make one more, even though I don't need any more, an Imperial Knight costume, just because that's so cool, is a possibility, but I'm not actively seeking it. You know, the props are just fun to have on display and help out with our events, but I really would, we have the plans to make a speeder bike, you know, so you can sit on, and that as soon as we figure out a couple more logistics on that, we're definitely going to do that.
Pushing for that for a couple of years, I know that.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
You host armor parties practically every other weekend, every month at least.
Yeah.
When did that become a regular thing as opposed to just saying I'll help out on the forums and stuff?
Because I have a lot of tools, and I do have the space, and I have a lot of costumes, and I'm always working on something, whether it's a new costume or project for myself or repairs or upgrades. And I'm kind of in the center of the state, so it was a little difficult for me to go out to someone's house to help them. But it's very easy for me to host it here, because I'd have to bring my kids with me usually, because my wife's working or I'm working or whatever. So I just started saying, you know what, I'm working on something today. If you guys want to come by, I'll help you out. Or people would say on the boards, I'm having problems. I can't figure out how to put this together. Can someone help me? And I'm like, well, I'm here. I have that costume. If you want to come look how I did it, you know, that. And, you know, plus just meeting all you guys, you know, becoming friends, it's just fun to hang out. We hang out outside of just costume making for holidays and stuff like that, too. So it's just, I really enjoy having people over. My father was really big into, he was an auto mechanics teacher, and he did a lot of stuff on the side. And he was always had people over here helping him with stuff. So growing up, I always just had his friends were here. There was always somebody here learning something. My dad was helping him with something. I think that just kind of subconsciously rubbed off on me, you know. So.
And how did it officially become named Brodustrial? When it stopped becoming just come over to Brodustrial?
I believe it was Nitro Chris and Tanner Mike. they came up with the logo and got some stickers.
Okay.
And one day they just came and presented them. They're like, listen, like, you know, it's a homage to Industrial Light Magic, and you know, it's because my name is Brother, but my nickname is Bro.
Yeah.
So everything is Brodustrial, you know, Bro Palooza, Brodustrial, whatever. And so they came over with the stickers, and then that was really cool. So we just started calling the shop Brodustrial. And then we were setting up the trash compactor at one of the events, and Wojo Rob was like, we need like crew shirts because we're always, you know, throwing this together. So I went to the local shop, and I was like, I got, you know, a run of like t-shirts.
Great shirts,
T-shirts. But on the back I made, you know, like crew, art department, props and armor, you know, and then my wife and the kids get management because they're always bossing us around. And it's like you have to earn the shirt. You get an art department and a props and armor because you do both. You know, guys who just help out get the crew, but if you're helping people with the armor, then you get the props and armor. So it's kind of like a little nod that they can say, hey, listen, we're all part of the crew, but, you know, I got a little, I'm a special one. So it just is a fun. It was a thank you to you guys, and I got them, and I just, you know, I gave them all to you guys, you know, as a present.
I feel like Brodustrial spawned a couple other shops in you know, our garrison here. What's your opinion on tailor-made armory?
I love the guys at Taylor. We have one of them down here today. He's working
keeping an eye on him.
You know, it's great. It really is great. You know, it was just a fun thing for us doing down here, and guys have always gotten together with people in their area to build stuff and help each other out. So like once this came, we actually started. You started, I think, the Facebook page just. You know, you and the guys, just so we have a place to document what we're doing and to help promote that if you need help, come here. And then, you know, the other guys did the same thing. And we have probably 3 or 4 different little groups in New Jersey that all help each other. And they might not have official names, but, you know,
they're getting there.
They're getting there. And I think it's fun. I think it's really fun. You know, we have, you know, last year you guys presented me with the accident board, which is great. And it's just a fun thing. It's not like a competition. It's just, you know, we all, you know, guys from here go up there, guys from there come down here. You know, we're all great friends. But I think it is really cool that it's more cool that you have a central place to go that you can recognize. So like if you're up north, you know, it might be easier to get to Taylor's, you know, and he has different hours, you know, during the week and stuff where, you know, we're down here, I'll become more the weekends, you know, for central. And then we have some guys down south that are easy because sometimes it's not as easy to get all the way up there. So.
All right, we have one last fan question sent in the last minute here. Why don't you have any fabric scissors?
There's no such thing as fabric scissors. We have that's the other ongoing joke here is I understand the concept of fabric scissors, but you know everyone always says, "Where's your fabric scissors?" And I'm like, "This one." They're like, "You're just cutting plastic with that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was cutting cardboard before and Velcro right now." You know, yeah, it's funny. They love teasing me because I don't have fabric scissors. One day I will. We'll start a pool and we'll get me a pair of fabric scissors.
All right, bro. Well, thanks for answering some questions for you. So let's get back to work.
Awesome. Let's do it.